I never thought I'd be saying that Oppenheimer is more woke than Barbie, but yeah, I actually believe so. Now, first, let's get the runtime out of the way. This movie was so flippin' long, I think the actual Manhattan Project was shorter than this movie. This movie could have been done in about halfway through, I'd say. And then they went off on this tangent about nuclear proliferation and whether or not we should have dropped the bomb. And let me tell you something. There's a good chance that if we hadn't dropped the bomb, myself and many others would not be here. My grandfather was stationed in the Pacific. Do I know what would have happened? Of course not. None of us do. But let me tell you this little tidbit I saw online, didn't believe it, and had to Google it. Do you know that the Purple Heart medals we have today, a lot of them were printed during World War II in anticipation for the invasion of the Japanese islands? 500,000 of them, as a matter of fact. We've used up 370,000 since World War II, and we still have 120,000 of them left. The Japanese, let's not forget, at the time were carving their way through China, raping and massacring people as they went, and then telling their citizens that if the U.S. came, we were going to do that to them. Let's remember history for a minute here of what happened. If we had to invade all the Japanese islands, how many people might we have lost? So do I think we should have dropped that bomb? Yes. And unlike Nicole Hannah-Jones and all the revisionist history out there talking about, oh, no, they were already defeated. No, they weren't. According to most scholars, what they say was, and experts at the time, they would have fought tooth and nail because they thought they were dying for the emperor to keep America out of it. It's as simple as that. Getting back to the movie itself. What bothered me most about the movie is this political nonsense they have at the end, which has nothing to do with the original plot. Up until the bomb goes off, I'm in it. And then after the bomb goes off, I'm out. The score was great. The performances were great. But it couldn't save you from this clunker of a movie. And the reviews I'm seeing out there, it seems like people are defending it because they put all their chips down on it or because they like Christopher Nolan and they're afraid to admit that this movie is a clunker. Mike, what'd you think?
It's a slog. It is a ponderous, pretentious, self-indulgent slog. And we've talked earlier, Ari, about Christopher Nolan fandom, but I think this movie is mismarketed. It's like, from the director of Dark Knight and Interstellar and Inception, here comes this action-packed movie about people talking in rooms.
Yeah.
And they basically, I think Christopher Nolan needs to get put into movie jail first, dude, because basically he left Warner Brothers to make this movie over at Universal, and they basically gave him the blank check to do whatever he wanted. So he's like, I want to film this on film and on IMAX, and we saw some of that hubris in our press screening, and we do want to thank our friends at Allied Global Marketing for inviting us out to the show. But basically, they're showing it on film, and our film broke halfway through. Now, that has nothing to do with the theater. There was also some problems with the air conditioning and all of that. And it is maybe an exercise in the theatrical experience influencing the thoughts on the film. I don't know that for sure. But the point that he was so insistent, Christopher Nolan, on this thing being shown on film, they put a print in a projector in an auditorium that hadn't been used for film in a long time, and the result is the film broke halfway through.
Right, they said they hadn't used that projector in like 10 years, something insane like that.
Something dumb like that. And my point being is that, like, you know, it's like, oh, see it in IMAX, see it in 70 millimeter IMAX. There are only like 19 theaters in the world where you can see it in true 70 millimeter IMAX, like the giant, like, 600-mile trays that weigh like 11 miles long, 600 pounds, whatever, including the Seattle Science Center is not one of those places where you could see it. They are showing a digital representation of the movie. So for our IMAX to still not have like the truest form, that tells me it's overly pretentious. The movie is long. It becomes, hey, it's that guy, the movie. I'm glad you liked the score because I sure didn't. I found it to be incredibly intrusive and distracting. And I kind of part ways with you about some of the performance. Cillian Murphy is going to win an Oscar for this performance. It is a full and complete performance until you get to some of the old age makeup. Then, boy,
that
boy.
don't work. I think I aged sitting there.
Yeah,
this movie took so long.
That'll give you the chills. But a lot of the other performances from the cavalcade of cameos became distracting and really not good. Robert Downey Jr. is having a ham sandwich this whole time.
Okay,
that performance sucks, my
Robert
friend.
Downey Jr.'s character and performance are so superfluous, they don't need to be in this movie.
Yes.
His part, his role could have been summed up in one line of a postscript after they dropped the bomb. There are so many moments they could have said, we're done with this, but the going back and forth between different timelines was confusing also.
Well, you got to Nolan it up. And you know, and that's kind of my thing. It's like they're presenting this as this large screen spectacle, and it just isn't.
No.
I would have appreciated the movie a whole lot more if it was just a straight-on Oppenheimer biopic. My recommendation for this movie is I don't think it's particularly bad, but watch it on a Sunday afternoon, probably as you're nursing a hangover, so you can dip in and out of consciousness. And I mean, don't go to the theater, and certainly don't watch it in large format.
No.
There is nothing there.
There is
nothing
one scene. There is one scene that deserves that, and it's still a question. There is one scene, and you can guess which one it is. There is one scene that deserves the large format, and that's it for the whole movie.
Yeah.
That's really it. So, I mean, this would have made a great 10-part miniseries, and you know something else?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, at no point did anybody say to Christopher Nolan, maybe you want to leave that on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
This is not just the director's cut. It's like the extra special extended director's cut.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so we just both say skip it. Watch it at home.